Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to tackle a big one, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. You've probably heard of it, right? It's one of those books that totally changes how you look at money. But it's not just a dry finance book. It's really a story about two dads and two completely different ways of thinking that, honestly, can make or break your financial future. So, let's dive right in.
All right, let's kick things off with a question that might sting a little. You know that house you own, the one everyone tells you is your biggest asset? Well, what if it's not? What if it's actually your biggest liability? I know, it sounds crazy, but what if the very thing you think is making you rich is secretly keeping you broke? This is one of the biggest, most talked about ideas from the book, and we are definitely going to unpack it.
And this whole idea, it really leads us to what the book calls the great money lie. It's basically all the stuff we're told we're supposed to do with money. You know the drill: go to school, get a safe job, climb the ladder. But the book argues that this exact path is what leads so many of us straight into a financial dead end.
And that dead end? Well, it has a name you've probably heard before: the rat race. Seriously, think about it. It's like being a hamster on a wheel. You get a raise, so you buy a bigger house or a nicer car. But now you have bigger bills, so you have to work even harder to get another raise, and the cycle just keeps going. You're running faster and faster, but you're not actually getting anywhere. You're just stuck.
So how does the author, Robert Kiyosaki, explain all this? He tells a story from his own childhood. See, he grew up with two dads. There was his actual father, who he calls Poor Dad, and then there was his best friend's dad, who he calls Rich Dad. And here's the thing, both of these guys were smart, hardworking men. But when it came to money, they were from two totally different planets.
Which brings us to these two dads, two worlds, because their mindsets really did create completely different realities for them. And this is key. It wasn't about who earned a bigger paycheck. Not at all. It was all about what they believed about money, and because of that, what they did with the money they had.
Okay, so let's break this down. Look at the difference in their advice. Poor Dad's whole thing was study hard so you can find a good company to work for. But Rich Dad, he said study hard so you can find a good company to buy. See the shift? For Poor Dad, security was a steady paycheck from a job. For Rich Dad, real security was financial education, knowing how money works. It all boils down to this one massive difference. One philosophy has you working for your money your whole life, and the other has you making your money work for you.
And this quote from Rich Dad, man, this one really hits home. He said that saying I can't afford it just shuts your brain down. It's a dead end. Conversation over. But asking how can I afford it, well, that's a whole different game. That question fires up your brain. It forces you to start thinking, to look for solutions, to get creative. It's the difference between a closed door and 1,000 open ones.
All right, now we're getting to the absolute heart of the entire book. I'm talking about the one big idea that makes everything else click. Seriously, if you forget everything else, remember this next part. This is the engine of wealth.
Okay, first up, what is an asset? Now, forget all the complicated definitions you've heard. Rich Dad keeps it incredibly simple. An asset is anything, and I mean anything, that puts money in your pocket. That's it. Think about a rental property that pays you rent every month, or stocks that give you dividends. It's money coming to you even when you're sleeping.
And on the flip side, we have a liability. You guessed it. It's anything that takes money out of your pocket. Simple as that. Your car payment? Liability. Your credit card debt? Big liability. And yes, according to this definition, that mortgage on the house you live in, since it takes money out of your pocket every single month, it's a liability.
Okay, so asset, liability. Puts money in, takes money out. It seems almost too simple, right? So how does this one little distinction become the secret to building massive wealth? Well, it all comes down to one thing: cash flow. Where does your money actually go every month?
And this right here, this is the aha moment of the entire book. On the left, you see the pattern for most people. Money comes in from their job and immediately flows right back out to pay for their house, their car, their bills, all liabilities. The asset column, it's empty. They're stuck. But look at the right. The rich do something totally different. Their income goes to buy assets first. And what do those assets do? They generate more income, which they then use to buy, you guessed it, even more assets. It's a powerful upward spiral. It's a wealth-building machine.
So the big question is, how do you actually start building that asset column for yourself? Well, the book's final piece of advice is simple: mind your own business. And no, that doesn't mean you have to quit your job and launch a startup tomorrow.
Here's what it really means. You need to understand the difference between your profession and your business. Your profession, that's your job. It's what pays the bills. It keeps the lights on. But your business, that's your asset column. That's what's going to make you wealthy. So the whole goal is to use the income from your profession, not just to live, but to pour it into your business. You use your job to fund your freedom.
And that really brings us back to the most important question of all. It's the one you have to ask yourself when you look at your own life, your own finances. Are you working for money, or is your money working for you? Are you just trading your precious time for a paycheck, or are you building an engine that earns for you around the clock? Because honestly, the answer you come up with, well, that could change absolutely everything.